chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear defense as protective measures taken in situations in which chemical, biological, radiological or nuclear warfare hazards may be present. Cbrn defense consists of Cbrn passive protection, contamination avoidance and Cbrn mitigation. A Cbrn incident differs from a hazardous material incident in both scope and intent. Cbrn incidents are responded to under the assumption that they are intentional and malicious. Evidence preservation and perpetrator apprehension are of greater concern than with HAZMAT incidents. A 2011 forecast concluded that worldwide government spending on Cbrn defense products and services would reach $8.38 billion that year. Etymology: in English the term Cbrn is a replacement for the Cold War term NBC, which had replaced the term ABC that was used in the 50s. The addition of the R is a consequence of the new threat of a radiological weapon, in addition to N that joked among members of the Chemical Corps which called NBC as nobody cares. In the new millennium, the term CBRNE was introduced as an extension of CBRN, the E in this term representing the enhanced explosives threat. Leaders and members of the Chemical Corps also use CBRN as could be right now. In Spanish the term NBQ has replaced NBQ. By country or region. Canada the term CBRN is in common use in disaster and emergency services organizations across the country. Since July 2005, the Canadian Forces also started using the term Cbrn Defense, instead of NBC Defense, due to the increased threat of dirty bomb use. CBRNE is a new term that is being used in both civilian and military organizations. The Canadian Joint Incident Response Unit is a Canadian Forces unit, under the direction of the Canadian Special Operations Forces Command, charged with supporting the Government of Canada in order to prevent, control and mitigate CBRN threats to Canada, Canadians and Canadian interests. At the provincial level, cities are provided opportunities for their emergency services with CBRN training. In Ontario, emergency services in Windsor, Ontario, Ottawa, Ontario, Peterborough, Ontario, and Toronto have obtained CBRN standing at NFPA Standard 472 Awareness Level 3. The Ontario Provincial Police's UCRT is a specialised team responsible for CBRNE incident response for the province of Ontario. The team was formed in 2002 and was called the Provincial Emergency Response Team until 2010, when the name was changed to UCRT. They changed from Provincial Emergency Response Team to UCRT due to the elimination of tactical and concentrating on USAR and CBRN and explosive disposal. Under the direction of Specialist Staff Sergeant Jim Bock, UCRT became the province's elite response to anti-terrorism. Hong Kong has had CBRN response capabilities since the early 1990s and advanced training from 1998. The Standing CBRN Planning Group plans for all CBRN incidents in Hong Kong. The SRPG was set up with the support of the Secretary for Security by the Senior Bomb Disposal Officer in Hong Kong, Dominic Britton. It consists of representatives from 9 government departments who plan the response to CBRN threats. These departments include Police EOD, Fire Services, the Hospital Authority and the Department of Health, amongst others. The operational arm of the SRPG is the CBRN Incident Advisory Group who form up in the initial stages of a CBRN incident using telephone conferencing. RIAG consists of 5 experts who assist with the technical response to the incident by providing real-time advice and support to the departments involved. The Hong Kong capability is well rehearsed, with regular departmental exercises conducted and a full-scale CBRN exercise conducted every year. India the Indian Army ordered 16 CBRN monitoring vehicles, of which the first 8 were inducted in December 2010. It was developed by the Defence Research and Development Organisation and manufactured by Ordnance Factories Board. Argentina the Argentine Armed Forces has several CRBN response teams. The Batalla Cubed de Ingenieros QBN 601 of the Argentine Army was the first CRBN response team created. In the 1990s, as a part of the country's rapid deployment force. Civil defense and firemen from Polica Federal Argentina teams also have Crbn training. Ireland equals. The Irish Defence Forces have Cbrn training and equipment capabilities in particular the Ordnance Corps, Engineer Corps and Army Ranger Wing and will aid the civil authority if requested. The Irish Army runs Cbrn defence courses, and has detection equipment, decontamination equipment and is reported to have purchased 10,000 protective Cbrn NBC suits, enough for all of its personnel. The Irish National Police Force, the Garda Síochána, has a number of nationwide Cbrn response teams. The teams are based regionally and began operating from 2004 with 100 trained officers. There is a requirement for members to be recertified within 18 months of training. Cbrn response teams are trained by the Garda Tactical Training Unit, and supported nationally by the Emergency Response Unit. Other emergency services also have limited Cbrn expertise, such as the Health Service Executive and Dublin Fire Brigade, who have a Hazardous Materials and Chemical Incident Unit. Malaysia equals. The Malaysian Army formed a Cbrn unit, Peperangan Nuclear, Biology dan Kimia 3 Division in April 2002. The Royal Malaysia Police has Cbrn providers. The Pasukan Gerakan Khas has 2 Special Operations Detachments with HAZMAT expertise, 69 Commandos and Special Actions Unit. The Federal Reserve Unit also has a Cbrn unit. Both PGK and FRU teams handle Cbrn calls, before an Army PNBK unit responds. Spain equals. The Spanish Army 1st Cbrn Regiment Valencia was formed in March 2005. Training in the defense against Cbrn agents as part of combat support is the main aim of Exercise Grifo the most important of this type that the Army undertakes. The National Police and the Spanish Civil Guard have their own Cbrn units. The Military Emergencies Unit and Emergency Services have Cbrn training. United Kingdom equals. Cbrn is also used by UK Home Office as a civil designation. Police, fire and ambulance services in the UK must all have some level of Cbrn providers. Within the ambulance service this is performed by the Hazardous Area Response Team and Special Operations Response Team. Since the introduction of new equipment to UK fire services under the New Dimension programme, Cbrn decontamination of personnel has become a task carried out by fire services in the UK and they regularly train for such scenarios. United States equals. The United States Army uses Cbrn as an abbreviation for their chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear operations specialists. The United States Army trains all U.S. Army soldiers pursuing a career in Cbrn at the United States Army Cbrn School at Fort Leonard Wood. The USAF uses Air Force Specialty Code U.S. Air Force Emergency Management, who are also Cbrn specialists. The USAF trains all U.S. airmen pursuing a career in counter-Cbrn operations at the USAF Cbrn School at Fort Leonard Wood. The USMC uses Cbrn as an abbreviation for 2 military occupational specialities. The Marine Corps runs a Cbrn school to train Marine Cbrn defense officers and Marine Cbrn defense specialists at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. See also, Chemical Biological Incident Response Force. The USN requires all personnel to take a web-based Cbrn training annually to get a basic understanding of facts and procedures related to responding to a Cbrn incident. The Russian Federation equals. In May 2012, BioPrepWatch reported that the Russian Security Service ordered over 100 capsule cradles, which are devices that people can use to protect infants or even small pets in the event of a nuclear, chemical, biological, or radiological threat. According to the article, Soviet military engineers invented the capsules in the 1960s. A company is currently producing the capsules in a factory in Russia. Cbrn products, numbers vary, but news reports and market forecast reports place the market for Crbn products in 2013 and 2014 between $1 billion. the market for Cbrn products is expected to grow to over $13 billion by the year 2023. Cbrn manufacturers include Argonne Electronics, Blucher GmbH, Bruker, FLIR Systems, HDT Global, MSA, Research International, and TSI. Argonne Electronics makes Cbrn detection simulator called RADSIM 44-9SIM that personnel can use in training exercises. Blucher GmbH produces a two-piece Cbrn protective suit called the SCDF Cbrn protective suit that gives first responders 24-hour protection against environmental threats. Bruker produces ion mobility spectrometry technology for military and security personnel that separates, identifies and analyzes ionized molecules present in gas. FLIR Systems produces several handheld detection equipment devices, each for chemical, radiation, biological and explosives detection. HDT Global produces an air filtration system called ColPro Filtration that government forces can install in buildings, ships and vehicles to remove Cbrn threats from the air. MSA produces the Safe Escape Cbrn respirator, a hood that filters Cbrn particles for use by personnel responding to a terrorist incident. Research International creates a sensor system, called the ASAPV for critical infrastructure protection, for subways and other public areas that uses multi-sensor surveillance technology that detects the presence of Cbrn particles. Cbrn eTech Index sells top manufacturer Cbrn products. Cbrn eTech Index is powered by MRI Global. TSI makes technology called bioaerosol triggers that collect Cbrn environmental samples to identify and confirm threats. See also, Poison Gas in World War INBC Suit, HAZMAT Suit, Biological and Chemical Defense Review Committee. References. Bibliography. External links, Cbrn ePortal, the #1 Cbrn ePortal providing news, articles and media on Cbrn nbc-links.com, the Internet's most comprehensive portal to Cbrn-related information sources, NCT Cbrn Awards, the awards for the world's best Cbrn products, IB Consultancy NCT Events. NCT Events are the only worldwide Cbrn events. Cbrn Magazines, CBNW, the best Cbrn magazine, Cbrn World Magazine, the world's largest Cbrn magazine and information exchange. Video links, featured video of Singapore Army's Chemical, Biological and Radiological Defense Group on YouTube, NCT Cbrn Asia 2013, Malaysian Army demonstration on YouTube.